In this thought for the week, I want to think about an experience that I've had recently. Enjoy. I don't know whether you've noticed over the past few Thought for the Weeks, but I've tended to keep my left hand out of shot. And the reason for that is because, rather stupidly, I managed to cut my middle finger down to the bone. And, you know, as a consequence, I managed to sever a couple of the tendons and had to go into hospital and have them stitched back together. And, you know, out of that experience have come all sorts of illustrations that I guess will find their way into sermons in the coming weeks and months. But the thing I wanted to talk about in this Thought for the Week was the way that I implicitly put my confidence in a surgeon to wound me more in order that I might heal effectively. Because, you know, that's exactly what I actually did. I didn't know this guy from Adam. I understood that he was a consultant hand surgeon, and he came and he spent probably 10 minutes tops with me in total, explaining what it is that he was going to do and then coming back and telling me what it is that he'd done. And effectively what they did was they cut my finger open in 2 other places, they peeled back the skin, and without being too graphic, they stitched it all back together. And you know, that struck me as really interesting, that I was willing to allow this person to wound me further in order that I might be healed more effectively in the days that lay ahead. And as I thought about that, I thought about my ministry in the life of the church. Too often I'm reluctant to wound people with the truth of God, to say things as they really are, for fear of hurting them, whereas actually sometimes healing requires hurting before they get to wholeness. And that's challenged me. But it's also challenged me in terms of my willingness to show confidence and faith in God. You see, I was putting my faith in a man I'd never met on the basis that he'd done this before and he knew what he was talking about. And as I think about my relationship with God, so often I'm unwilling to take a step of faith because I'm not trusting God enough. I'm not willing to risk what I was willing to risk with the surgeon. And that seems to me to be wrong. If I'm basing my faith on what the consultant has done before and his competency, why am I not doing that with a God who has done so much more, not only in Scripture that we're told about, but in my own life? Why am I reluctant every time he invites me to take a new step of faith to launch out in confidence and trust on the basis of what I have already experienced of his goodness and love? The reason why I mention it to you as church leaders is because it might be helpful to you as you think about your own circumstance and your own situation. But it also helps us in terms of understanding our role in the life of the church. You see, I believe that part of my role is to introduce people to the God they can have confidence in and then give them a push in order that they might stand upon what they say they believe, trusting that God can, God will, and God does. So that's my thought for the week. What are you doing to help your church take a step of faith that puts their hope and their confidence squarely in God's ability to do what they can't? How are you encouraging them to step out in faith and do something extraordinary? If you like this video, then please give us that thumbs up and press the like button. It's great to have the affirmation sometimes because you don't know how people receive these videos otherwise. Perhaps you'd like to share it with others who you think might find it helpful at this present time. And why not follow us? We produce videos like this every week, and hopefully if you found this one stimulating and it's made you think, then you'll enjoy the others as well. Thanks for watching.